Hello, hello, hello. I picked myself a bunch of blue flag iris flowers before Paul mowed the lawn. They're growing all over the lawn, and I secured these here for myself. I want to make myself a foot treatment with these flowers. I crush them in my hand. I kind of like squish them like this, and then I make some sort of like a paste mush out of it, and then I'm going to be netting it onto my feet, and that's really nice and really healing. This is just an amazing flower, blue flag iris. It's anti-carcinogenic. It's very healing, very medicinal. You can eat, someone wrote a long article on this. You can eat about this amount of this per day for about 2 months. Every day you eat this much. The tip of the finger from the petal. I already did today, so every day. And that cures any kind of C word. I don't like to say the word. So it completely cures every single kind of whatever people suffer from. So even tiredness and whatever people have. It boosts your immune system. It heals you from everything. And look at these beautiful flowers. They are purple, but they look a little bit bluish, light bluish. I have a rose also in this color, in this really light, like a very light blue type of rose in that same color. And I hope that rose recover. I hope both of my roses are going to be recovering well, and we want to take them with us to the desert and have them in the greenhouses and in pots in these big 5-gallon water containers. So, not water containers, buckets, white buckets. Okay. You use these white buckets, they work for a lot of stuff. They work very well. You drill holes on the bottom, several holes, and you put them into a retainer pool. He has these for doing oil changes, these oil change retainer pools, and you just put the bucket into those, and that retains the water that comes out of that percolates through the earth in the bucket, and then the excess water gets retained in that water retainer underneath, and when the plants need it, they will soak it back up. Okay, so that's very important to have that at all times. And I also want to grow my vegetables that way, because that works very well. Also for eventually, if you want to change the soil, you can just turn that over and you can dig everything out. And you can also, it's very good for potato harvesting. You turn these over, you can sort out stuff that you want to keep, the the potatoes or whatever roots or whatever plants, and then you can put fresh soil into the bucket, and you can put the plant back in. I mean, if you have a plant that you want to save, of course, don't take the earth around the plant away. So just then, for that, it would be better if the plant gets, if the whole content of the pot gets embedded into a larger flower bed or something like that. So, or maybe even into the ground, but then there are ground animals that chew on stuff, on roses too. So we already had to learn the hard way with that. So I was wondering why the roses were suffering, and then I realized, oh yeah, the ground animals, they have gnawed on the roots. They have eaten most of the roots. So that's why we had to put them back into these large buckets. So I'm gonna do the foot treatment now. That's really nice. It's nice. It's real nice today. Real warm. Beautiful stuff. And I was thinking to use the rest of the blue flag iris to maybe dry them and then make oil infusions with it. You can make an absolute oil infusion with it, cold oil infusion, and then the essence of the plant gets absorbed by the oil, like a carrier oil, such as olive oil or avocado oil. So this is the best. This is uneven here, the ground. That makes it difficult. This is how I do a foot treatment. I've already done some of those foot treatments for Paul. Let me show this. Okay, like this. Like this here. You roll it on. You massage this on. It feels real good. Real good. Feels really good, and it's really healing. Paul really enjoyed that when I did that for him. I used rhododendron petals for him, and the blue flag irises are out now, and so my justice will use them while they're out. You know, that's really nice. And also go in between the toes with it. That's very healing. It's very good to do that. It's really good. And then particularly here, under the heel. I have been suffering lately from Like, I don't know what it is. It could be like an ingrown foot callus or something. Very, very, very sensitive to pressure now. All over the heel. Here and here and here and right underneath here. Hurts real bad when I walk. And I wonder what's going on with this. So I think this here, the iris, is going to be really, really helpful, really healing. I want to talk about some nice videos that I saw on YouTube. I see that there's a bunch of people like me who are going into nature or on their own property, and they pick herbs and they have their properties natural. Everything is natural, no pesticides, no chemical fertilizers, everything natural, and they don't have a monoculture or anything. They leave everything the way it is, permaculture, whatever grows there naturally already they leave. And that's what we do. And that way you have a real good variety of different plants naturally that are natural for that particular environment. And like different berries, for example, or fruit trees also. And there are people, they make videos of their properties or homestead land where they harvest the stuff, different plants, different food plants, and what they make out of that. They make different beautiful, nice food with it, or they make teas, or they make salves for healing, or tinctures, or even shampoo or creams, So I have been doing that. I have made myself skin creams with an infusion of Pieris japonica. So that was a couple years ago. I dried Pieris japonica in the window and then I cut it up first, I think, and then I dried it, and then I put all the dried stems and leaves and flowers into a ceramic pot, ceramic type of, I don't know what that really is, some kind of deep ceramic dish. And then I put the carrier oil over it, and I let that sit for like, 2 months or something, in a cold, cool, dark place. I think I put the lid of a Tupper container over it, but I like to have that substance not be completely sealed off. I mean, some people like it to be sealed off from the air, and I think either way is good. I personally like to put some kind of loose lid on it so that it can still get some air, breathe somewhat. And the beauty about oil infusions, it doesn't get rancid because oil lasts for many, many, many years. It doesn't get moldy or anything. It lasts for many, many, many years. And then what I do is while when I make creams, for example, but I can also do that when I do the cold infusion too. I can draw an 8 on the side into the substance, and I notice that makes the substance have an indefinite life. It's the infinity sign, the blue god. And that works really, really well. And Rudolf Steiner has a method for preserving essences, plant essences, in creams by rhythmically shaking these plant essences. Rhythmic shaking of it by hand, and very gentle shaking of it. That keeps it vibrant and alive. And they do that every day, those chemists. They shake these in rhythmic motion, like this, every day for a couple of hours or something. And that keeps the products from Wahler, Dr. Hauschka, and Veleda, these two German companies, labs. They're both owned by Veleda now. That keeps them indefinitely fresh without any kind of preservatives on it. It's really fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So I'm thinking about drying these blue flag iris plants, flowers, and then making an oil infusion with it. Soaking these stems and flowers in oil for about 2 months, and then straining it out with a strainer, some kind of strainer cloth or something. I can use an old sock even to do that. I put all the plant stuff into the old sock, and I let the oil run through, squeeze through into another cup, ceramic cup, and you can also squeeze it like this with your hand and squeeze the rest all out. It's really nice. And then you have a very pure plant essence oil, an absolute, and you can use that to make creams with, skin creams. And I don't work with water, I only work with oil, because it has an indefinite shelf life. It's really fantastic. And I can make all kinds of things with it. I can make lip balms with it, or I can make creams with it. The way I make creams, with where you dip your finger in it, comes out very easily, like a cream, and it doesn't have water in it. It's only oil based and wax based. So I also use beeswax pellets. I got them from Star West Botanicals in bulk. I still have a whole lot of those, like, I don't know, several pounds. And I like beeswax pellets, really, really nice. And then depending on how concentrated, how thick you want the substance, you put beeswax pellets in, and you put different ratio of beeswax pellets. And if you want the cream to be really, really condensed, like for a lip balm, for example, you put more beeswax pellets in it. And for lip balm, I use about 1/3 of beeswax pellets, and the other two-thirds of oil, and then it comes out really, really nice lip balm consistency. You can pour that into lip balm containers and let that harden, and then you have a real nice lip balm. Or you can, for a face cream or hand cream, I use about 1/5 of beeswax pellets and 4/5 of oil. And then if you want a body lotion that is like really, really more like a lotion, then you can use like 1/6 or 1/7 of beeswax pellets and the rest oil. So, but people have to experiment with that themselves. If you use coconut oil as a carrier oil, coconut oil solidifies at room temperature. But as soon as it gets warm, like as soon as it gets like 70 degrees or 80 degrees, it's completely liquid. So it's a little bit deceptive because of that. So that's why coconut oil is not really the ideal oil for making creams with it. But I have so much already that I had bought before in a larger amount. So, and I don't buy any more coconut oil because I found out later on that they exploit monkeys to get coconuts. So I don't support that anymore. I don't support buying or this entire production of coconut harvesting the way they do it at the equator. So it's absolutely wrong to exploit animals to get coconuts. So one time I asked the company that I got coconut milk powder from them, and I told them what's going on. I thought they should be interested, but instead they took terrible offense and they snapped at me. So that was like the end of me being their customer anyway. But that's not the best way of dealing with the customer. And they said like, we don't get our coconut products from those. How do they even know where that comes from? How do they even know? They should be very concerned about this, about the monkeys. But they're only concerned about making money and so, or their reputation or whatever. So that was the end. I never bought from them again. And I'm never gonna buy coconut products again as long as it comes from exploitation. I will not do it. So, and it's not ideal anyway for making creams, but I still have so much of it. So I use the coconut oil to make body lotions with. I use a little bit of the beeswax pellets with it, and a little bit of another carrier oil with it, or an infused oil, like with the blue flag iris. But the blue flag iris you can only take like this much per day if you're using it as a medicinal plant for 2 months about, and then I would stop. And people had really great results for that. If you eat more, it can cause real serious problems. It can do something where I don't know what I forgot what it was, but it can cause some kind of vasoconstriction or something like this, kind of toxicity. But they're toxic, but not in a way that it is harmful. It's just that a toxic plant like Pieris japonica, for example, when people take that in larger amounts, that can have some real serious effects, like whatever on the heart, like slowing the heart down or something like that. But taken in small amounts or used as skin products, it's completely safe. But even for the skin cream, I'm not going to be infusing a whole lot of those into it. I'm not going to pack this all up with this. So I use, like, I don't know, 5 of these flowers, dried flowers, infuse it in oil, and then just have them soak one time. Some people, they make infusions where they make like really concentrated absolutes, where they take the petals out, squeeze it out, and then they put new petals into the already infused stuff, and they repeat it several times, and then you have a very thick resinous syrup left in the end, and that's an absolute. So I personally don't do that at all. I can feel it already. I can feel this now. I can feel a numbing effect now on my heel. It's very interesting. By just massaging this in over and over, a numbing effect. So I think it may have an analgesic effect, like a pain-reducing effect. It's very interesting. Very interesting. It's very good. I can feel it, that it is definitely very, very healing and helpful for my heels to do this. And I just came up with this on my own. I didn't read about this plant getting rid of ingrown foot callus. So I just experiment with these kind of things. And I always have really great results with it. The rhododendron is the ultimate virus vaccine. Drink a tea with rhododendron flowers infused in water every single day, and that's your vaccine. You never have to get a vaccine. You never have to worry about it. You never get sick. It's a wide spectrum antiviral medicine, and all natural, and all has no side effects. It doesn't hurt the liver. It's all good. It's beneficial for a lot of things, not just for virus prevention, but it's very healing for a lot of stuff. It's really nice. So I was talking to myself earlier on the couch. I was meditating. I was thinking about this herbalist couple from England that I saw on YouTube. And I was so happy to see that there are other people that are very much into holistic healing and nature and harvesting plants and all of that. I was very happy to see that. And I was thinking, this guy, from England, the way he was talking about the daisies, I'll find their video, I'll post it in the video description. They're really, really amazing. I recommend to people to watch them, to subscribe to them. They're really good, really, really nice. They also adopted a Staffordshire, like we did, and they're very sweet. They have a couple of kids, which we don't, but I'm not for having kids in this difficult world. But it's up to each person to make that decision. But they're very much on board with all of this, with natural healing and holistic lifestyle, green living. And they have a couple of videos that are very, very inspiring. Like, for example, they make their own laundry soap. They harvest ivy leaves, and fresh ivy leaves, and they put them into a pot. They put water in it with it, and they cook these ivy leaves on a low flame for, I don't know, an hour or two or something. And then they let it cool off, and then they strain the ivy leaves out, and what they have then is ivy soap, natural, all natural ivy soap, just from cooking the ivy leaves, like a concoction, but it creates a soap because there are saponins in many plants, natural saponins, natural soap-like essences that are very much like functioning like a natural detergent, like they absorb greases and dirt and stuff like that. And they put like a cup of that, what they cooked there, into the washing machine on the top, where you put your liquid laundry detergent into it. And then they washed a couple of towels, and they came out completely white and clean and fresh, and it's all natural. So if that goes into the septic tank, or if you irrigate, if you live completely green with composting, if you irrigate the compost with that, or the plants, then it's completely safe for the environment to use that kind of self-made soap. Much better than store-bought soap. Store-bought soap that is usually not very environmentally friendly. And the soap that you buy that is eco-friendly is very expensive. That can be extremely expensive. So making your own ivy soap sounds like a really, really amazing thing to do. It's a little bit more time consuming, but it's well worth it for the environment, for your garden. So I think that's really great. Then I was watching their videos, and I thought these two girl and guy, husband and wife, they're so sweet with each other, and they're so cute and so lovely and so good looking, and they're so flirtatious with each other in such a natural, holistic way. And I was thinking how nice to see a happy couple like this. They have a good life, and I thought that's a kind of man, a man like that I wish for me in my life, a man just like this, who is into nature, who praises flowers, who collects flowers, who talks about natural remedies and is excited about it, and who is loving to his dog and his children and his woman, and has humor, And the English already have their very specific, special English kind of humor, and it's nice. I really like it. But, there are some like this also in the United States, I'm sure. And so that's what I wish for. I wish someone who is like that, artistic and natural and peaceful. That's like really my number one priority. A peaceful friend, or peaceful friends in general, So it's very, 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 very nice to be around peaceful people. So I was talking to the haters, and I don't know if my computer recorded this or not. the external camera, whatever that records. But I use this also as an opportunity to bring this into my own meditation and my own healing process. And then I have someone to talk to, like this. So, but talking to the camera is even more powerful. And this also shows that I don't have to sing over the camera. The computer's on and the camera is running. So then it feels even more like I'm talking to friends and people. And makes me also nervous, but at the same time, it makes me feel like, yeah, I'm sharing something here that is of value to you, to your life, like home remedies and better way of living, saving money also, being in tune with nature, with the environment, making the world a better place, living peacefully, not supporting some petrochemical companies and so on, or the entire industry of petrochemicals. So to stay away from all of this, to live a natural life cycle. And also to talk about the psychology of, particularly in regards to the hater guys that have been trying to have been bullying me very severely over the years. So for 8 years this has been going on. I have been in some chat rooms recently, but only for a few moments, like the bird's nest, and it doesn't take very long until the haters come there too, and they'll create another drama, even at a bird's nest live video. They'll create a drama, and they'll package it into like they're talking about birds, but obviously they're not talking about birds. And so I feel very persecuted about it, but I have to understand now, so they need something, these people. They need something. What is it that they need? What is it that you need? What is it that you are coming to look for when you are spying on my computer, or when you are coming to a live tweet where I am happening to be in that moment? What is it that you want me to, what is it that you want to say to me? What is it that you really want to say? So, yes, the baby dog is coming running. Oh, yes, good. Is he good, the dog? Oh yeah, he's so powerful. Oh my God. So they should really find out for themselves in meditation, but I need to talk about all of this. I think they need something that they don't have in their daily lives. And I am guessing that they need more love in their daily lives. And they see that I have this love. I have so much love in me that they're craving, And love also means someone who stands up for herself, someone who stands her ground, someone who is not beaten down by society's standards and society's peer pressure and all of this. And they would like to do that too, but they're afraid. So they see someone who is like that, and they want that too, and they want to be also around someone. They will feel safer around someone who does not go by peer pressure, who is not mentally bent by this kind of peer pressure and the shaming and all of this, and the bullying by society, by the corporate agenda and so on. So they like that. They want. So I think I think that they need this very much, and I think that they're very unconscious also about that. But they need to find out in meditation whether that's true what I'm saying, right? And in general, when someone says something, don't just take their word for it. You have to find out for yourself whether it's true, what someone says. Whether that's me or anyone else, or psychiatrist or therapist or whoever that is, a religious person, find out for yourself whether that person is saying the truth, whether that is applying to you or not. You have to find out. So, last sunlight for the day, and it's absolutely gorgeous here, and the rhododendron are blooming. It's absolutely gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. I'll make another video maybe tomorrow, and I will show more of the rhododendron. Now the other colors are coming out. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I observed this English couple. I observed this guy. That guy stands in such contrast to the haters. He is so independent. He goes out there onto a mountain of a meadow, and he sits there and he looks into nature and he enjoys nature. He's completely himself. Okay, and that stands in strong contrast to the majority of humans on this planet. There aren't very many people like him. There are very few people who are, and for men this is particularly remarkable, because for a woman to go out there and collect herbs and flowers, it's kind of, by society already acknowledged as a girly type of thing, right? So a lot of girls are into soap making and those kind of activities and collecting flowers. But when a man does it, then society, still to this day, will label him with all kind, the kind of words that they use to shame someone or to bash someone and make fun of them, Eric Jacobs, for example, who looks a lot like that guy, who is a lot like that guy from England, Eric Jacobs in the United States. An amazing amount of haters that he has collected. Haters they hate him so much. And I think the reason why they hate him so much is because Eric Jacobs, he can be himself, like that guy from England. Eric Jacobs, he was traveling with his cat Jax in a motorhome. He didn't want to work anymore. He didn't want to serve the corporate agenda anymore. He wanted to be free. He wanted to explore the United States with his motorhome. He wanted to see things. And he didn't want to be a slave anymore. And he was, when he got in the motorhome, he was in his early 30s. So, and I think a lot of people envied him for this. A lot of guys particularly, I think deep down they would like to do this too, but they're afraid to do it because they're afraid of being shamed and hated for it. And then what do these very people do? They see someone like that and they will go ahead and shame and hate that person. In the same way that they are afraid of being hated if they did this. So they will just full force perpetuate that negative cycle of shaming and hurting and making the world suffer. And it's sad for me to see this. It's very, very sad. And I think this is particularly, these things are happening because they want something and they can't allow themselves to do it. And then they're jealous of someone. And the whole thing is unconscious on top of it. It's very unconscious. That's why it is so incredibly important that these kind of things come out to the surface, that people become aware about it, first of all. The most important thing is to bring it up to the surface, to your consciousness, to your prefrontal cortex, to understand even what are you doing, to see yourself, to see what you are doing. You're shaming someone who you're actually jealous of, So become aware about this. Become aware about the destructiveness in society of shaming someone like Eric Jacobs, or someone like that herbalist in England, and there are several people, but they're very, very rare, particularly for men. This is very rare, and particularly, for fully straight men, So the guy in England has a wife and children and is very much in love with her. You can see that. And they're flirting with each other. They're loving each other on every level. And they're enjoying their lives. I bet they have incredible sex, Just want to point this out. So there's so much misunderstanding going on in the world. Men think they need to bang as many chicks as they can in one night, then they get guy credits. Like, what can you buy for guy credits, first of all, What do you get out of that? It's just some kind of ego stroking, And it doesn't do you any good. It doesn't make your life better. You just become more dependent on what other guys think of you. So, and banging another chick, and banging 10 chicks per day or something like this is not good sex. Okay, this is a fact. I don't care what you think about this. It's not good sex. Certainly not for the woman, and also not for you. Because good sex is when you actually really feel comfortable with someone. And that applies to women mainly, but it also applies to men. I can see this very clearly. Men are more, they claim to be not so dependent on this, but I think they are. They have just cut themselves off from that because they think society expects them to be the great, whatever they call themselves, jock or something, and the stallion or something. And it's a misunderstanding completely. That's not great sex. Okay? Great sex is if you are completely at ease. Completely. I can fart, I can burp, I can say something stupid, I can be silly, I can be depressed as heck, I can have phases of terrible anger or depression, and he is still there for me. Okay? That's love. That's like total relaxation with someone else. Okay? That's total love. That's total acceptance. That's being completely relaxed with someone else. And out of this foundation comes incredible sexual feelings and enjoyment. Okay, and that's the truth. Okay, and I want people to know all of these things need to come out on the table. They need to be packed out on the table. All of this truth, needs to come out to the surface, into the public. People need to know. People need to learn about themselves. They need to understand all of this. You have to question society, whoever you are. If you're a girl or a guy, it doesn't matter. Question society, particularly for men. This is absolute urgent message, okay? So, take care.